Hello and welcome to Divorce TV, and we've got some lovely guests. We've got Nikki Bruno, who's been on the show before sharing her story, but today she's going to be sharing some of her wisdom as a divorce coach. And we've also got, for our shared story, Henry, who has been on the show quite often as an expert, and he's going to be sharing some stories about some of the clients that he works with as a chartered financial planner. And then finally we will end up with a lovely self-help healing from Vivienne Rawnsley, who has literally dragged herself off the sofa with COVID to come and share her healing with us. So thank you very much, Vivienne, for that. But for now, we're going to shoot on with the news. This is quite a shocking one to start with. In the picture, I don't know if you can see it, there is a grenade outside this person's door. So a man has plotted to kill his wife, who wanted a divorce, with a bomb he hung on the door of her family's house in the Urgut district of the central Anatolian province of Nevşehir, and this is in Turkey. So Bayram Selik, 32, apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name right, reportedly tried burning his wife's house and the car and shot bullets at her car in the past. Hacer Selik, 26, said even she never expected him to plant a bomb outside her house. Hacer and her parents woke up to the sound of noises coming from the front door of their house. When they looked out from the window, they saw Bayram Selik running away and a black object hanging on the door. Without touching anything, they called the police and security units, who determined the grenade would have exploded if someone opened the door. He threatened me all the time. I filed a complaint against him, but the prosecutor dismissed the charges. Now you see he put a grenade on my door, Hacer added. Bayram Selik was arrested, quite rightly, and jailed on an attempted murder charge. Hacer Selik said she will never give up on her quest for justice and called on all women abused by their partners to press charges against them. Violence against women and femicide are rife in Turkey, where 269 women, the article says, had been murdered this year so far, and 152 died under suspicious circumstances, according to the We Stop Femicides platform. Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu on November the 23rd called on men to stop resorting to violence. He said, I want to address men. Behave yourselves. As of November the 20th, 243 women were killed. For us, even one is a big number. This is a shame. What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to satisfy? Said Soylu about the rising number of femicide and domestic violence. Terrifying. So let's move to something slightly less terrifying in the Financial Times. Right, this hopefully won't be affecting most of you, but you never know. Depends how much money is involved. Google has ordered to hand over emails in £453 million divorce battle. So Tatiana Akhmedova wants her ex-husband to pay up in one of the UK's biggest settlements. A US court has ordered Google to hand over the personal emails of the son of a Russian oligarch as part of a bitter £453 million divorce case. Judge Virginia DiMarchi in California told the US tech group to surrender Timur Akhmedov's emails for use as evidence in a lawsuit brought by his mother, Tatiana Akhmedova, the wife of an ally of Vladimir Putin, Russia's president. Now, Miss Akhmedova has gone to court in the US and the UK in an attempt to force her husband, Farhad Akhmedov, to pay up basically in one of the UK's largest divorce settlements. Google said the order was a breach of its customers' privacy. Fair enough. The divorce case, which is being funded by litigation financier Burford Capital, has led to a legal battle over assets including a helicopter, a private jet and a super yacht. Google sought to block the order to give up the emails this week on the basis that to do so would infringe Mr. Akhmedov's right to privacy because he had not given consent to share them. So Ms. DiMarchi said Google's concern for the privacy and security of its account holders communications was commendable, but ruled the request did not breach the US Stored Communications Act, which governs voluntary and compelled disclosure of emails. So be careful what you write in your emails, and much better just to be open and transparent in your private mediation, collaborative law, or arbitration, where you avoid all of this kind of mess. And then finally, we have Megan Fox in the Mirror. So Megan files for divorce from Brian Austin Green as MGK romance gets serious. So Megan Fox is once again looking to end her marriage to Brian Austin Green by filing for divorce. She did try it before and then she sort of stopped, but she's serious about it now. The 34-year-old Transformer star made her red carpet debut with boyfriend Machine Gun Kelly at the American Music Awards earlier this week. And with their relationship taking a more serious turn, she's looking to bring her marriage to a legal end. The Blast has reported that Megan filed the divorce documents on Wednesday, and that Beverly Hills 90210 star Brian, 47, also filed his response. The pair separated in May after 10 years of marriage, and Megan was soon seen spending time with rapper MJK, whose real name is Colson Baker. The split was amicable to begin with, but has become increasingly more hostile on social media as the pair have traded jibes in the comments section of each other's posts. Now, this is definitely something you should all be avoiding. A source has told People that Brian is struggling with Megan's new relationship and how public it has been. The source said it's a tough situation. As a dad, Brian is great. He's wonderful with the boys. The issue is that he's bitter that Megan moved on so quickly with Machine Gun Kelly. It's very hard for him. And as you'll see, you might not be able to see very well, but in the Instagram post there, she's in love, she's telling everyone, but you do begin to wonder if it wouldn't be better just to wait till the divorce is over before you kind of go crazy about what you're doing online, because it is incredibly painful for the other person. So let's now move on to painful matters with our expert today. Welcome, Nikki. Great to see you on the show, and thank you so much for coming. You're way over in America, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Susie. It's wonderful to see you again. And I'm feeling very thankful today because yesterday we Americans celebrated Thanksgiving.
Of course, yes. A belated happy Thanksgiving. So I know you were kind enough to come on the show before with shared stories and talk about you had quite a traumatic experience yourself, and that's influenced the work that you do now. So perhaps if you could tell everyone watching what you do for people and how that came about.
Absolutely, Susie. What I do for people is I help folks to stage epic comebacks in their lives after going through a divorce, any kind of divorce. I specialize in high conflict divorce, and even more specifically than that, a high conflict divorce from a high conflict individual, which means a person who typically a high conflict individual has some kind of personality disorder, such as narcissistic personality or borderline personality, or is exhibiting sociopathic traits, something like that. And I do not shy away from any level of complexity or conflict in a divorce. My stress and emphasis, however, is on getting over the divorce and thriving rather than just moving on or surviving. Hence the name of my coaching practice and my methodology, which is the Epic Comeback.
And perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how you came up with the Epic Comeback based on your own Epic Comeback, and just a little sense, because it's quite a structured program, isn't it?
It is a structured program, and I would be happy to tell you more about it. The Epic Comeback methodology was something that I created in the wake of my own 3-year-long high conflict divorce, which began when my children were very young. My daughter was an infant and my son was a preschooler. And I had a very personal interest in staging an epic comeback. I decided that I was going to get my mojo back, and I was going to continue to be a high achieving, joyful person. And the way that I created my methodology was to study hundreds of real life comebacks not only individual personal comebacks, but also athletic comebacks from athletic teams and individual athletes who had been injured or who came back from some kind of personal crisis. And I also studied corporations and businesses that had major comebacks. One example would be Apple. And I took this information, and as I was studying these case studies, I was asking two main questions. Question one was, what are the human characteristics that it takes to make an epic, huge, major comeback? And number two, what are the steps that people and organizations and teams actually take? What are they doing to move from a critical low to a beautiful high? And I generalized from these studies to create the epic comeback method or journey, which is a 10-step process that I guide my clients through.
And can you give us perhaps an example based on your own experience of something that you did for yourself to illustrate an element of that, bring it alive?
Absolutely. I'll say two ways that I brought it alive in my own situation. Number one was I reclaimed my relationship with my body and my health. And I had gone through a 3-year-long, as I said, divorce process where I really hadn't worked out for that entire period of time, which wasn't typical for me. And so I started working with a fitness coach, and I got into definitely the best shape of my life, and started a fitness program, a nutrition program, and my energy level shot up, my confidence level shot up, my self-esteem improved, and seriously, within 3 days, I was feeling so much more like myself because I was moving my body and I was releasing some of that emotion, stress, and trauma through my body. And the second example of how I staged an epic comeback, it's very kind of meta, but the way that I did it was to found my new company and to open my professional coaching and mentoring process. And the fact that I was now extending a hand to people who had gone through something similar to my own crisis and trauma brought me a kind of joy and purpose that I had never felt before.
That's amazing, and I love the aspirational aspect of it. That's so important, is it? You can't just get stuck in the now. You have to look at, and believe that something better is possible, and it's so hard to do that on your own. Can you perhaps give an example of the kind of person who comes to you for support? What's going on for them?
What's going on for my clients when they find me is that they have gone through 1 to 3 years of utter crisis, living in survival mode. About 60 to 70% of my clients have gone through or are still going through the divorce process. But I also work with folks who've gone through a different kind of life-shattering experience, such as a major illness or a loss. So typically my clients are in their typically 40s or 50s, and they have gone through a divorce, probably a high conflict one, but not necessarily. And they are ready to get over it. They're ready to move on. They're ready to take action. They might not know exactly what they want, but they know that they're ready to take action, and they know that ultimately they want to put their divorce in the rearview mirror rather than staying in bitterness and staying in stress and anxiety and heartbreak. They want to move on. They want to make an epic comeback. They want to almost take advantage of the crisis that they've gone through and use the lessons that they've learned and the strength that they've gained to catapult themselves into their own future.
And the good news is that is actually possible, isn't it? And which some people listening now might find hard to believe, but it is possible. Could you perhaps give a couple of tips? Sounds a bit simplistic, but nonetheless a little bit of guidance for people who are thinking, oh my God, she's just described me. Apart from obviously contacting you to find out more, what can they do right now in their lives that will immediately benefit them, and was possibly something that you've discovered yourself when you're in that situation yourself?
Susie, I have 3 shortcuts to an epic comeback, and that
Perfect.
is the perfect way to respond to your question. The first is physical fitness. And I already mentioned this. Physical fitness is a route to reclaiming your relationship with your body, reclaiming your relationship with your sexuality, feeling good in your own body again, and increasing your energy. Exercise, physical exercise, is also an extremely effective treatment. And I literally mean treatment. And there are plenty of very reliable studies on this. Treatment for depression and anxiety. The second shortcut is to make sure that you build or rebuild what I call your VIP team, your community, the people around you who are helping you not just to get through the divorce process, but to get beyond the divorce process and to start planning and rebuilding your life. And what that takes is simply creating a vision of how you want to feel when you're around your people, and then looking at the people in your life and deciding to spend more time with the people who do help you feel that way and less time with the people who don't help you feel that way and who might actually even be actively working against it. So that's number 2, creating a VIP team. And then number 3 is creating or recreating your sacred relationship with yourself. And that's about building confidence. It's about building self-trust again and self-loyalty. And one tip for doing that is to get quiet and sit down and make a list of times when, I call it a rock star list, of times when you have achieved something incredible or felt amazing or just been a complete and total rock star. And think about those times in your life and remind yourself of how incredible you actually really truly are.
That sounds lovely. It's a shame we have to go through these terrible crises before we kind of discover these wonderful ways forward. Do you ever get anyone who hasn't had to have everything fall apart first, who just goes, actually, I just want my life to be better? Or do you think there tends to be a pattern that you have to be knocked down before you decide, I want my life to be much more empowering and wonderful than it has been in the past?
I love that question, Susie. I do have clients who are very drawn to the concept of the epic comeback, even if they haven't gone through a recent kind of trauma. There's a personality type, if you will, kind of an overachiever or a perfectionist, or just a person, people who really like to evolve, people who really like to always be working towards something epic. So I do have some clients who come to me, and they're wonderful to work with, again, who haven't gone through trauma, but they want to up level. They want to take it to the next level. And often what that looks like is it's a successful, professional, high achieving person who might not be listening so much to herself or himself and making sure that how they're spending their time really matches their dharma, really matches their journey, really matches where the kind of legacy that they want to lead. Like I said, most of my clients are in their 40s, 50s, and I also have clients in their 60s who are thinking about what kind of message, what kind of legacy they want to leave for future generations. And I'm helping them to define that and then to go about achieving that legacy and leaving it.
Well, I can tell you absolutely love doing it. It shines out of you. And so hopefully when I let you know later where everything's posted, that you'll pop in some information in the comments so people can find out more. You do that for us?
I would love to. Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again on the show. Bye for now. Oh, it's very uplifting. I love uplifting stuff. So we are now going to swiftly move into a short, very short little bit of masterclass, and you will notice there is a new QR code. Right, the QR code, which is also on here, the reason this pretty QR code is created because the app has finally been launched. We're still doing a few tweaks, but everything you might want, whether it's our free welcome pack with lots of great, wonderful resources, particularly for co-parenting, or whether it's to access the divorce masterclass, you can get it all. It's the easiest way is just go to the app. It's also a great way to find that we've got a community there as well. We've got the Secret Divorce group. That's all moving in there. But now we're just going to very briefly, we're still on set sail, moving forwards with the divorce, what I call the intelligence part, which is basically making sure you get your information and you understand what everyone does and how they can help you. And I wanted to say a little bit about accountants. Now you might think, well, what do we really need accountants in divorce? Well, there are some accountants that can be very useful. So there's three things I wanted to share with you. One is that accountants can help you gather and organise the information needed for the Form E. Now this probably is more if you've got business or buy-to-lets or just complicated finances and it's doing your head in, and the accountant can just help you pull those numbers together. And actually I do often refer people to Neil James accountants who work throughout the UK, and they've got a lovely team who are used to helping people to do exactly this. They can also do something which can be very useful, which is to just imagine, because this does happen, you need to talk to the accountant of your spouse, and you don't want to phone them up because you're not feeling very confident. Your accountant, or the accountant that you might be working with or as part of your divorce, they can do that for you and have a grown-up conversation about let's get that financial information clarified that you're waiting for. So that's something that people often don't think about, but can be very helpful. So the second thing they can do is they can offer business evaluations, and through these can take a lot of time. People often need them far too late, and they can also be quite expensive. So if there's a business involved, you need to value it. Now sometimes, quite often, that business could be valued through a desktop valuation. So again, Neil James, you'll find them on the Alternative Divorce Directory. Or in the app, Come and Ask Me, I can always connect you to them. They do desktop valuations, which is really, really useful because it can be much quicker and save you quite a lot of money. And a quick call with them, they'll be able to tell you whether that would be appropriate or not. Now, the accountants that many people may have heard of in divorce are forensic accountants. Now, that's quite a specialised area. They are usually only going to be used when there's a really strong belief that a person in the divorce is lying about their income. And a court can order a forensic investigation. This can be very costly and, again, time consuming. So it's definitely not something to do unless you're really quite sure, not just that you think, but you're really sure that something is being hidden. And it, again, talking to like Neil James accountants who aren't doing forensic work, if you said to them, do you think a forensic accountant would be able to find out this, that and the other, they would be able to give you a good idea about whether it was actually worth doing that, because going down that road doesn't always result in the success that you might want. So there's just three different ways that accountants can be very, very useful in divorce. Now we're moving to our shared story. And I'm going to be introducing you to a familiar face on the show, who is Henry, and he's going to be sharing some interesting stories with us. Now, hello, Henry. Are you coming in loud and clear? I can see you.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
Fabulous, great. I'm glad you're here. I don't want to speak too soon, but the tech's behaving itself very well today. I'm enjoying this. It's much less stressful than normal. So, so you're going to be sharing with us some. I'm just going to move your little. You've got a name here, which I'm going to try and move in a second so we can see properly, because it's covered up by your magic QR code, which we might as well tell people if they do use the QR code.
Don't forget the company name. That's right.
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna make that appear better in a minute, because we enlarged the QR code earlier, because that will take people straight to a complimentary conversation with you. So just right up front, if anybody watching this in the UK has assets to split or pensions, Henry is the person you should be talking to. But what he's going to be sharing with us now is a shared story about some of your clients, aren't you?
I am. That's right. So quite often when I've appeared alongside you, Susie, on one of these shows, I've been talking about how I've helped individuals come to some sort of decision about what they perhaps should be asking for in a financial mediation. But recently, I actually worked with a couple. They were going through a divorce, obviously. a fairly young couple. He as it happened owned a business, and she was a stay-at-home mum now, although had worked alongside him in his business, and it was quite interesting. So rather than sit, I didn't even sit with the mediator, so we just sat with them, sadly on Zoom rather than at either of their houses or in my office. So I couldn't steal their chocolate biscuits. But but it was really interesting. So both sides provided me with their financial information before we met up. So I understood how much he earned, what his company did, what assets he had, what he had tucked away in a pension. And similarly, that the wife, provided me with, an understanding of what money she was likely to be spending, both now and what was likely to be spent in the future. They're quite young children, so taking them to school, transport, and all this sort of stuff. And then together they sat and they discussed and they explained to me what they wanted to see after they were divorced. So obviously they no longer wanted to be married, but from a financial position where they wanted to find themselves. From her perspective, it was the children were going to live with her and see their father occasionally, but she wanted to be financially secure, which is reasonable enough. Can't blame her for that. But she was going to lose the income that she had from working alongside her husband, the ex-husband, really leaving her with no more than child benefit and whatever and maintenance payments that he was going to provide. From his position, it was slightly different. He totally understood and wanted to ensure that the mother of his children was in a financially fair position and was actually going to be able to look after the children. He didn't want to see the children put out of place or anything like that. Perfectly reasonable. But at the same time, he didn't want to be overpaying and seeing that he was being overly generous towards his ex-wife. And you kind of get that too, So they're breaking up. Why should he now have to pay for everything going forward? So it was a really interesting situation. I totally got both sides. And by sitting down with both of them, they were both able to articulate what their concerns were and what they did want to do and what they didn't want to do. And actually, I think they both found that quite reassuring. Certainly, the wife found it reassuring to hear from the husband. Actually, I don't want us to shaft her, but I just don't want to pay over the odds. I definitely want to make sure my children are okay. But that's where we're at. And I think from his point of view too, he was quite happy to hear her say, look, I totally get it. My real worry is I've just got to look after these kids. And it's so worrying. Where am I going to get the money for to do that? So I think they both really, just through sitting down and talking, with me facilitating, and I'm no trained mediator, don't get me wrong, it was just a really useful thing. And on the back of it, what we did was great. So we went away and we put some plans together. Now, you've heard me hark on about cash flow forecasting before, and that's exactly what we did here. So we put some cash flow forecasts together. So we said, look, if he gives you this much money every month or every month, this is what things are going to look like. And from his point of view, he'd go, well, I don't want to give her that much money. But actually, if I don't give her that much money, I can see that she's not going to be able to look after the children. But we also then had a look at other things, and she was going to get a bit of cash from the family home. They were going to sell that. What's the best thing to do? What's the best thing to do with that? Her thought was, well, I'll go and buy an investment property. Well, okay, go and buy an investment property, which her immediate thought was, I'll just buy it from cash. And actually, we discovered that perhaps taking out a mortgage might be a better way. And despite the fact that she has no job right now, she'd probably still be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage on her property. And that just alleviated some of the initial payments that the husband was going to have to make. So it was a really great case, really interesting. And whilst I must confess, I mean, this only happened a month or two ago, and they certainly haven't signed on any dotted lines or come to any conclusions yet. The impression that I got from both of them was that it was a really useful piece of work. And they're both really happy now to go away and put things down in writing and draw it into this stage of their lives.
And what I like about it is because when I first met you, a lot of your work was with couples who were intending to sort of make a life plan and be together for a long, long time. And initially there was an assumption that you'd only ever possibly be working with individuals, though I've always held out that belief that the door should be open. So I'm so happy to hear of that, and I think it is important to say, and I know you'd agree with me, that it's not the same as mediation. In many ways, people should be bringing all that information to the table in mediation, but what they're not getting is that financial long-term cash flow forecasting. So I always see you as the missing link in the mediation process. So the more people can work with you first, then if they can't so easily agree, then of course the mediation is an ideal place to go with that. And you can join in with that mediation, can't you, to be there to answer questions. And I think that's important for people to know. But for a lot of people, they're not, they're not in an aggressive and angry place, are they? So they quite often can sit down together, and that's going to save them so much time, surely.
I totally agree, and the reason it will save them time is because they've actually got the answers before they get to the discussion and the arguments. So now they don't really need to get to the arguments, which is great, and that's perfect. Whereas if they've got to the position where they sat down with solicitors bouncing stuff backwards and forwards without really understanding the consequences of some of the decisions that they were likely to make, or without understanding the reason that the other side was asking for that money or whatever, then actually things become that much more hard and become much more heated. But because they sat down and they understood their finances, they understood the options that were open to them. She understood that actually now a mortgage was possible. He understood that she did need some money, and this was the sort of quantum of money that she needed. They came together, and that's what was perfect. Whereas actually two solicitors doing exactly the right thing, saying my client needs this. The other side, it puts their back up, saying why do they need that? Why do they need this? Because they don't understand where the other person is coming from. So it's fantastic. It's really worked well. Can't talk, but
and then having that information, it allows them to work out what their split should be. That's what I love about it, because so often they think the mediator will do that, the lawyer will do that. It's like, no, guys, you are going to do that together. And of course, if it isn't amicable, if it is messy, one person can sit with you and go a long way and can still do that to a large extent. Although it's difficult if somebody's not providing all the information the other side, but in most cases they do, because they have to. All right. Well, no, can you? You come back with. I'd love to get you back for that one. That would be brilliant. So we're gonna have to move on now. But yeah, no, that would be a really good one to hear, because I guess that's probably going to be something that a lot of people do recognise. Unless is it very, very? I don't want to squash it. Is it very quick one?
No. We'll
bring it back. We want to do it justice, because we want to know
the full gory details.
That's what we want. Don't want anything less. Thank you so much, Henry. And make sure if you're not already, please log in to get yourself onto another shared story, because I can't wait to hear that one.
Right,
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
So now we are moving forwards to a very quick roundup and then our healing. So I'm going to show you again, we have on the 21st of January, we have this amazing workshop coming up, and Henry is actually going to be part of that workshop. So do come along to that. If the easiest way to access it is to use the QR code, just look up Best Way to Divorce app. It's on every platform, and you will see the information for it there. And if you do it through the app, it means you can immediately access video interviews with Henry, with lawyers, with mediators, with lots of amazing people who are all going to be part of the workshop. But you can get information straight away. You don't have to wait for the 21st to get any help. But yeah, we have limited spaces, so do book yourself in. Now we're going to have our healing is coming up, and I'm just going to make sure that we can hear Vivienne as I bring her in now. And hello, Vivienne. I'm just going to trying to get you unmuted, but for some reason on my end, it's I hope you're not pressing anything. because it'll make it very confusing. For some reason, which is not good, it has decided not to unmute you. Maybe it's just, it keeps saying guest has muted themselves. So what might be in my, I spoke too soon earlier. I thought we had a wonderful opportunity not to have a glitch. Hang on, let me just see if it's because that one was unmuted. No, it doesn't like it for some reason. Can you do me a favour and just, Vivienne, and just go out and then come back in again, and then it should work fine then. It's obviously just still being a bit naughty with us here. So no worries, hang on to your seats there. Vivienne's going to log out and come back in, and then you'll be able to have our wonderful healing. And so while she's doing that, I just wanted to plug the app again. When you join the app, it's very, very simple, and you can do it from your phone. You can also use it on the desktop, and that's great. She's in there, and I reckon I can hear you now. Can you say?
Now?
Yes.
Hello.
Hallelujah.
Brilliant.
You're there. Brilliant. That's very good. So, right, just before I let you loose with the lovely background music, what are you going to be doing with us? And first of all, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Apart from recovering from COVID, I mean, goodness, that's massive. Thank you so much for dragging yourself off the sofa to help us. I imagine what you're going to do with us now is going to be particularly useful for people who are feeling really rotten or trying to pick themselves up again after being ill.
Very much so. I'm going to lead a relaxation session for you that will be quite healing and empowering, so that those of you who are feeling a bit lost and a bit confused can really find that confidence and find that power from within once more.
That's lovely. And so we're just going to sit quietly and just tell us a little bit about what's coming.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just get yourself in a comfortable position, sitting down, somewhere that you don't feel that you're going to be disturbed. You are going to have the opportunity to close your eyes so that you can get that full feeling of relaxation. You can be with your feet upon the settee, you can be sitting in a chair, you can even lie on your bed. You can choose wherever you want to experience this short session.
Perfect. We're going to move forward, and thank you for that. And I'm going to move.
So, to prepare yourself for this enjoyable experience, just get yourself in a comfortable position, as comfortable as you can. And now close your eyes and inhale deeply. Hold it for 3 or 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly. Again, breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. One more time, breathing in deeply and exhaling slowly. And as you inhale, you breathe more oxygen into your body. And as you exhale, it causes your body to keep relaxing more and more. Now you can continue breathing easily and freely and feel yourself becoming more calm and peaceful. You're revealing signs that indicate that you're moving into a very deep, peaceful state of relaxation. And as I continue talking to you, you can keep relaxing more peacefully, not caring how deeply you relax, just happy to continue becoming more calm, more peaceful, and more at ease. Continue to breathe easily and freely. Your subconscious mind will always be aware of what I'm saying to you, so it keeps becoming less and less important for you to consciously listen to my voice. Your subconscious mind and all levels of your inner mind can hear and receive anything I tell you, and your conscious mind can relax completely. The only sound you'll be interested in from now on is the sound of my voice. The warm, comforting sound of my voice, and anything that I ask you to do, which is all for your own good, will be so easy for you. I'm going to start off with the muscles at the top of your head, the muscles in your scalp, the muscles on your forehead, and as you focus on those muscles, allow them to relax. Moving down now to the muscles around your eyes, the tiny fibers, the tiny muscles, and as you focus on them, allow them to relax. Moving down even deeper now to the muscles in your cheeks and your lips. Any tightness, any tiredness, any tension just floating, drifting, sinking away and taking you deeper. Now going down to the muscles in your neck and your shoulders. Just let them do as they will. As you go down your arms now, down to your elbows, from your elbows down your forearms to your wrists, from your wrists to your hands, along your hands all the way to the tips of your fingers, leaving your arms feeling light, weightless, almost like a feather blowing on the breeze. And as you go deeper now, as you move from your shoulders down to your chest, to the muscles in the organs in your chest, to the muscles in your heart and lungs, and as you breathe in and breathe out, going deeper into relaxation, releasing any feelings of doubt or shame or guilt or confusion. As you go down even deeper now to the muscles in your stomach, to the muscles in your hips, and from your hips going down your legs now. Feel that relaxation almost like a wave of warm water spreading over the whole of your body as you go down to your knees. From your knees to your ankles, and from your ankles all the way along your feet to the tips of your toes. And you're continuing to experience the perfect peace of mind. And feel yourself moving into the situation I described to you. It's going to happen automatically and you don't even need to think about it consciously. I want you to imagine yourself lying in a comfortable position near a stream of fresh, clear water. In a beautiful forest on a perfect summer day. There's a warm, gentle breeze. The air is fresh and clean. The sound of the peaceful stream is very relaxing. It keeps becoming less important for you to consciously listen to my voice because your subconscious mind and all levels of your inner mind are hearing and receiving everything I say. In your mind, you're listening to the beauty of nature as the sunlight shines through the trees and you listen to the gentle flow of water and the birds singing cheerfully. You're lying there comfortably relaxing. It's so peaceful that you continue to feel more relaxed than ever before in your entire life. And as you continue enjoying this peaceful, pleasant experience, a soothing drowsiness is coming over the whole of your body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. You continue feeling calmer, more relaxed, more secure. And now as you lie there with your eyes closed or sit there with your eyes resting, you're so peaceful and comfortable and happy that you continue moving into a more peaceful and more detached state. It may seem like you are drifting into a state of sleep. There may be times when it seems like my voice is a long way away, and there may be times when I'm talking to you that you will not be consciously aware of my voice, and that's okay, because your subconscious mind is receiving every word I say and is making true everything I tell you. And now that you're so deeply relaxed, your mind has become extremely sensitive and so receptive to what I'm saying. Maybe now that you're so relaxed, you can realize that everything I say from now on is going to help you to become that wonderful person you want to be. So during this wonderful state of relaxation that you're in, you can start to feel physically stronger and fitter in every way. You can feel more alert, more wide awake, and more energetic. You can start to feel good all around. And as each day goes by, allow yourself to become deeply interested in what you're doing. Allow yourself these things and notice how much better it makes you feel. Enjoy these new feelings, enjoy the changes that they bring with them. And these changes will, I'm sure, continue every day. Just like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger, steadier and steadier, so big, so steady, that your nerves will also want to be steadier and stronger. And then your mind can become calmer and clearer, more composed, peaceful, more tranquil. All these changes can start to take place as soon as your subconscious mind allows them to, helping you to see things in their true perspective and coping better than you've been able to cope for a long time. You can be pleasantly surprised about this and even wonder about it. However, just let it happen. You can wonder at how relaxed and calm you're starting to feel as each day goes by. These things will happen all by themselves, just let them happen. And as you become more and more relaxed and calm each day, you can be aware of developing much more confidence in yourself, more confidence in your ability to do just what you'd like to do. Lots of confidence to do the things you'd like to do, whatever it may be. Because of this, every day, you can feel more and more independent, more able to stick up for yourself, to stand on your own 2 feet, to hold your own, no matter how difficult or trying it may be. From this day forwards, be aware of the greater feeling of personal well-being, a greater feeling of personal safety and security than you've felt for a long, long time. And because all these things are beginning to happen, because they're about to take place exactly as you would like them to, only more and more quickly, powerfully and completely as each day goes by, you can now feel much happier, much more contented, much more optimistic in every way. From now on, you will be influenced only by positive thoughts, ideas and feelings. The following thoughts come to you. I am calm, secure and relaxed. I am comfortable and at ease. I am in control of myself at all times. I am responsible for my body and will always treat my body well. My mind enables me to be relaxed and calm as I go about the activities of my life. Okay, so now it's time to wake you. I'm going to count from 5 to 1, and when I get to 1, you can open your eyes and you'll be wide awake and fully alert. Feeling good inside, feeling better than you've felt for a long, long time. Having enjoyed this relaxing experience, feeling better than you've felt for a long, long time, feeling so good. So here we go. 5, slowly waking, waking, waking. 4, waking a little bit more. 3, feeling good inside. 2 and 1, gradually bring yourself back into the room.
That was lovely. Thank you very, very much, Vivienne. And hopefully everyone's woken up and doesn't completely dozed off. I will be listening to that again tonight. And as I often do, I whiz forwards and I listen to the whole show again because I like to hear the interviews, but I love the healings at the end. So I hope you found that as wonderful as I did. And it will help you to stay calm. So if you are on the battlefield of divorce, if you're in the war of family separation, always make peace your weapon of choice.